Today's guided practice is how to work with inner conflict. And I want to start this with just an invitation to try on the idea that maybe inner conflict itself is neither something that can or should be fully resolved in the most traditional sense. So if we are to shift our focus away from resolution and instead allow this to be an opportunity to find steadiness even in the middle of an inner conflict experience, what you might come away with on the other side is a deeper understanding of your own parts and what matters most to you. So we're going to start this process with some choices. And often we think we have to access our core selves through a certain formula or process. But there are so many ways in, and it's going to differ given your brain, your body, your unique makeup. And it will also differ from day to day, moment to moment. So recognizing that qualities of your core self can range. And so I'll just give a few options, and these are invitations for you to try on and start to see what resonates. What you are looking for is a sense of openness. Openness to connect and some curiosity. And so one way that we can drop in is most traditionally through a sense of calming our bodies and then inviting in those parts in conflict. So I will walk you through a practice of calm, but I'll also give you an option to access your core self that might not feel so calm. It might still be open, it might still feel steady, but calm wouldn't be the word to describe it. So just feeling into your seat right now, or if you are lying down, or if you'd like to lie down to make contact. And whatever you're making contact with, this is your contact actually with the earth. So it may be with your feet on the ground, but just recognizing that the ground itself, underneath of that, it's the gravity pulling you through. Underneath of that, it is connecting you to the earth. Or if you were lying down, right? Your backside. And just noticing that point of contact. And so that itself can offer some steadiness. You are connected right now to the earth. And so starting with the invitation to see if calm in this moment is accessible for you. And we will do that very simply, very, very simply by lowering your attention. So for some, that's closing your eyes or lowering them. But again, it doesn't have to be. I always offer choice because that itself gives you a connection to your core self. A reminder that you're in choice. And so just whatever that looks and feels like, setting that intention, I would like to turn my attention inward. And so now, seeing what that feels like to actually bring some very gentle movement Often we think that calm means stillness, and sometimes it can be, but it doesn't have to be. Often calm is something we access once we feel comfort. And rocking side to side, right? Sometimes gently stroking your skin. Maybe even light and easy stretching can start to help you downshift, right? So we started turning our attention inward, whatever that looked and felt like for you. And then we actually turned to some movement. And just pay attention as you're doing this. You're just paying attention. This might be easy. This might be challenging. This might resonate. This might feel inaccessible. But even the noticing itself without judgment is already an opportunity for you to access your core self. So just let this be a moving process of awareness and noticing. Now, this process itself, you might have noticed, oh, this has shifted me into a different space. I feel a little bit more open, steady, rooted, whatever the language may be. Wonderful. So stay with that if that is what you were able to access. If, on the other hand, this did not help you access a sense of those qualities, I actually invite you to shift your awareness once again. And so just notice and maybe even remember the last time that you were in a flow state. And so maybe you were engaging deeply in a topic that lights you up, and there was a feedback loop, and the information itself sparked something, and more curiosity was opened, and it took you deeper, and there was an ebb and flow, and time itself started to disappear. Sometimes we experience these flow states alone, in nature, or with other people. So just notice if you're able to access through memory, whether that is somatic memory, cognitive memory, flow state. Just try this on. It's an experiment. And just notice whatever you notice. If there was any subtle shift to feel more open, more steady, or more curious, allow that to be what it is. Let that be enough for now, knowing that you can always return to this exploration. And so wherever you are right now, internally, energetically, invite in. And so that's, for some, that's kind of strange language. And for others, it makes perfect sense. But even more concretely, it's as if you were sending an invitation. And for those who are visual, maybe you see a little invitation that goes out. Or for those who do not see inside, maybe you just feel, again, that openness, and something inside of you, perhaps from your heart, is sending out to two parts that are in conflict. And so just notice. Again, parts have choice just as you do. Notice if that invitation is received. And you may not even know with clarity the name of the part or much about it. Maybe you know just the theme. And so the invitation might be an invitation to the two parts that seem to keep coming up when I think about or when I experience, and then whatever it is you experience, when you feel that conflict, that inner tension. And giving yourself just a moment, and giving those parts a moment to either arrive or let you know they're not open to connecting. And so even if they're not fully open to connecting right now, this invitation itself as part of the process is building a relationship. So that might be all that you experience today or in this meditation. Can that be okay? Can that be enough? Perhaps you do notice more coming in. Just the energy or thoughts, or, oh, yep, there's this one that feels this way, and there's this one that says, nope, it's like this. And so what I invite you to do now, and if you aren't already doing this, sometimes it happens organically and intuitively, is actually to hold up your hands if that is accessible to you. It doesn't cause extra distress or pain. But if you can just hold your hands up lightly in front of you, almost as a container, and a way to feel the differences, but also a way to focus your attention and to see which part wants to land in your right hand, and which part shows up a little more clearly in your left hand. Just slowing it down. Again, you don't need to know everything or hear the full story. You're just here to invite in and make connection. Right now, that's all we're doing. So that same energy of curiosity, steadiness, or flow, see if you can direct it now, one at a time. And you can see if you'd like to start with the right or the left, or just see if one pulls you. And see what it actually feels like if you have your hands being held up to orient your body, even turn your head a little bit toward the energy or essence of that part in that hand. Then just ask that part if it can share with you a little bit more about who it is. Maybe it shows you a picture in your hand, or there's a quality or a felt sense in that hand. And then just start to notice if words come or not. With just the energy of, I'd like to get to know you. What do I need to know about this conflict that you're in? So taking just a few moments, and I'll be silent as we do, with your body, your head, your face oriented to that hand. It's whatever you noticed. Letting that be what it is. I'm maybe asking one more follow-up question for this part. Maybe asking this part, why is this important for me? Or if you have parts that use the language of values, why does this matter? What value are you holding or protecting by showing up in this conflict in this way? And maybe the part will share with you. Maybe it'll answer the question, but in its own way, images, memories, words, or sensations. Or maybe you don't notice anything at all. And finally, just thanking that part. Just thanking it for whatever you received or didn't receive, but just the attention and intention that you had, the opportunity for connection that you had. And now gently and easily, letting that relax, settle, turning your attention, your awareness, and even if that feels comfortable to do so, your body and your face towards the other hand. And perhaps this part was listening. Maybe it gave you some space. It was listening and paid attention. It already has the questions in mind. But if not, you can always ask this part again. What do you need me to know about what this conflict is about for you? And so just let it share, and I'll be silent for just a few moments as you just pay attention. You just offer your curiosity and presence. And then just noticing anything you received, words, images, memories, sensations, just a felt sense, inner knowing, colors, textures. Just noticing. And again with a follow-up question. Why is this important that you hold or protect this for me? And again, this part might be very clear. It might answer you quickly. Or it might not know or remember itself and might need your support to better understand why it matters. And so letting that be what it is. And again, if you feel appreciation on any level for this connection with this part, just extending that. Maybe even imagine extending it out through your heart, your shoulder, your arm, to that space, that container in your hand. And so to whatever degree you accessed clarity or simply connection, more connection with both of these parts, with still some uncertainty around what they're holding and why, I invite you now, again, if it feels comfortable to do so, to allow your hands to maybe come a little bit closer. Again, follow their lead. The parts may not be ready for this, but if there is enough openness, just letting your hands maybe come up, both of them, to your heart. Noticing the sensation, the feeling of bringing that into your heart. Maybe allowing yourself to adjust the pressure. Sometimes a very light touch is what is wanted and needed. Sometimes some real deep pressure feels good. And then wherever you are, letting that go. Letting that be what it is. And so now in just a moment, I'm going to gently bring your awareness back into your body, into the space. But before I do, one more invitation is to send out to these parts. Again, only if it feels true for you, but if you would like to continue supporting these parts, understanding these parts, and helping them meet the needs that they are trying to meet, just let them know. I'm willing. I'm open. I'd like to. Now gently bringing yourself back into where you initially noticed that contact with the earth. whether it was your seat, your back side, the back of your head, if you were lying down. There's the earth. Here's my body. And again, the same way that we eased in, if there is movement that feels good, that feels right, that feels settling. And finally, if your eyes were closed or lowered, can you bring them back gently, easily, noticing slowly what's in front of me, what's beyond, what's above. And if it feels okay, maybe letting your body even take up a little more space. Expanding that steadiness, that openness out in a very physical way as you bring your energy back into the pacing that feels good and right for you. I hope that was helpful. I encourage you, if writing, journaling, creating audio notes is part of your practice, to have ongoing conversation with your parts, to anchor in some of what they shared, releasing any attachment to this must mean this. Maybe there was clarity, maybe there wasn't. Knowing this relationship that you're building is one that you get to continue building over and over again. Thank you so much.